Ever feel like stress is running the show? You're snapping at people you care about, you're lying awake at 2 a.m. with your brain on high speed replay, or feeling tired no matter how much you sleep. You're not imagining it. Stress isn't just a feeling, it's a full body experience, and it might be affecting you more than you realize. And today, I'm diving into the science of stress, what it does to your brain, your body, and how to get back in the driver's seat. Welcome to The Brain Changers, a podcast about learning how to revolutionize the way you think and live by mastering your mind. We're your hosts, mother and daughter duo Rebecca and Yvonne King from Moonbeam Monday. Our goal is to empower you to live the life you choose by teaching you how to retrain your brain. Some people tell us it sounds like mind control, and it is, but not the way you might think. This is about you taking control of your own mind rather than letting your mind control you, so you can choose to live a life free from the expectations of others. No matter what you've experienced in the past, you can create positive change and transformation by learning how to master your mind. We know this because we've done it. Between us, we've survived cancer and stroke and eliminated debilitating anxiety and depression. We've turned our pain into purpose through the power of our mind, and we're now here to support and guide you to do the same. In this podcast, we share valuable insights about how your brain works, why you think, say, and do the things you do, how to begin the process of change, and why it's necessary. Because we know that when you change your mind, you change your life. Thanks for joining us. Let's go. Hello and welcome back to the Brain Changers podcast. I'm Rebecca, and today I'm talking about something that touches every part of your life. Stress, but not in the usual stress is bad kind of a way. I'm going to unpack what stress really is, what it actually does to your brain and body, because we're all about the brain here, but of course our brain and our body are connected in an incredible way, and why your system keeps sounding that alarm even when you're not in any real danger, and most importantly, what you can do about it. This is part of our broader series on aligning mind and body, because when your inner world feels regulated and grounded, everything else flows a bit easier. So let's start with your brain. Your brain has got three main parts, or at least I like to describe it with three main parts that help you survive. And I like to call them the crocodile, the puppy, the cute white puppy, and the professor. Now, your crocodile brain, it's also known as your reptilian brain. It's all about survival. It's that primal part of your brain. It reacts fast. Think fight, flight, or freeze. Okay, so it's that initial reaction that we have. Then there's the part that, as I said, I like to call the puppy brain. This is actually the mammalian layer. It's emotional, it's deeply tribal, community-based, and it desperately wants to be accepted and loved. And finally, your professor. Now, this is the human brain, right? That's your logic, language, and your meaning maker. We are the only mammals out there who place meaning around things, and we're actually really, really good at it, even when there is no meaning behind something. Now, under stress, the crocodile or the puppy, they usually grab the wheel, so to speak. So that's why you might snap at someone or even shut down, or you could be obsessing over something small, even though your rational brain knows that it's not the end of the world. And if you're like me, you've had instances like that where you've reacted to something and you sort of sat back and thought, why did I react in that way? Why did I snap at that person? I'm not angry, but it's that survival brain trying to protect you. So if you've noticed that, you're not losing your mind, right? It's just that your survival brain is doing its job. It's doing a really good job, but it's perhaps not serving you in the best possible way. So here's where things get a little bit interesting. Stress isn't just mental. And I think we fall into that trap sometimes of thinking that it's just something in our head. But stress is physical, it's chemical, it's a full body event. Anyone who's ever been stressed, so I know I'm talking to 100% of you today, you know, you can feel it in your body. When you're stressed, your nervous system kicks into that fight or flight response. Your heart rate might increase, your muscles tense up, even your breathing becomes more shallow, and cortisol and adrenaline flood your system. And this is super helpful if you're facing real danger. Back in the day, way back, millions of years ago, if you were faced with lions and tigers, or, the saber-toothed tiger, for example, you needed your body and your mind to respond in such a way that you were going to run or at least retreat back into the cave. But we're rarely in dangerous situations like that these days, okay? Most of us aren't being chased by lions. We're trying to find our keys, we're trying to meet a deadline, or we're dealing with back-to-back emails, or, trying to get the kids ready for school, right? And yet your body reacts in the same way as it would have if you were being chased by a lion, right? And when that stress system doesn't switch off, when we've been in that stress state, that chronic stress state for weeks or months, or dare I say years, and it doesn't switch off, that's when it becomes chronic. That's when it becomes a problem. So you might be sleeping, for example, but you still feel exhausted. You wake up in the morning, you think, oh my goodness, have I even slept? You might get bloated. You might feel really wired, but you're tired at the same time. Or this is one I see a lot with people who are constantly stressed. They seem to pick up every sickness, like every little bug that's going around. Anytime somebody sneezes in the same room, they're like, oh, great, I'm going to get sick. Right? So we pick things up a lot. That's your nervous system stuck in high alert, right? It's forgotten how to power down, essentially. So if some of these things are ringing true to you, if you seem to pick things up, all the time, if you're feeling bloated, if you're exhausted, wired, or tired, this might be a sign to you that your nervous system is stuck in high alert. Now, let's talk about what's underneath your stress. So the beliefs and language that I want to talk about, the beliefs and language that shape how we respond to pressure. If you've been following us for a while, you know the power of your language. We've talked about that a number of times, and it's true. The power beneath the language that we use both internally and externally, it has a major impact on how we think, how we feel, and what we ultimately express. Now, most of our beliefs were formed before we even knew what beliefs were. Okay, it's usually before the age of 7, and not many people sit us down and actually explain what a belief is and how to change it. Beliefs often sound like I'll say that again. Beliefs often sound like I have to do everything myself, for example, or I don't want to stuff it up, or if I slow down, I'll fall behind. Another one that I hear a bit about is if I take the time, if I take the time for myself, and I don't keep juggling all of these balls, I'm going to lose them all, right? Or once I stop, I'll never be able to start again, right? So these beliefs, they don't just sit quietly in the background. They're actually driving how you think, how you act, so your behavior, and how you speak to yourself. And that self-talk can either fuel stress or it can diffuse it. So I want you to start noticing the script in your head. Catch those thoughts like, I can't cope, or this always happens to me, and get curious. What belief is hiding underneath this? And I'm not suggesting that it's just as simple as saying, oh, okay, well, instead of today saying I can't cope, I'm going to say something different. We know that these things are deeply ingrained in us, and there are changes that we need to make. There are techniques that we can use to help you change those beliefs and that internal script. But it does take effort, all right? We've been using this kind of language for a long time. That our body may have been in this chronic state of stress for a long time. So it's like that old ad about a shampoo. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen, right? This language, it matters. For example, saying, I'm learning to handle this hits differently than I can't deal with this. Okay, even if you listen to me saying that, you can hear fundamentally it has a different impact, it lands differently. So, what do we do when stress kicks in? Well, here are three simple science-backed tools that you can try anytime. Right, so the first tool is 333 grounding. So we likely all know that grounding is really important for us. It's a great way for us to just slow down, to calm down, to bring ourselves back to that beautiful calm state. So it's quite simple. First of all, name three things you can see, three things you can hear, and three things you can feel. Now, why do we do this? Well, it reconnects you with the present moment. And, we're all about being present. If we are living too much in the future in terms of what if this might happen, what if that might happen, we're in that state of anxiety. So we need to bring ourselves back to the present moment. And this particular technique, it helps you bring you out of your head and back into your body. Okay. Now, tool number two, orienting. So again, this is quite a simple one. We simply turn our head and slowly scan the room and notice things like window, lamp, bookcase. This is showing your crocodile brain, the reptilian brain, that there is no threat. You are safe. Because what is happening when we're in this state of stress is, as I said at the beginning, our crocodile brain is trying to protect us. So it's putting us into this fight or flight state, but we likely don't need to be there. And if we actually just scan the room and we tell our brain what is actually around us and that there's no threat, it starts to believe that we're safe. And tool number three is the psychological sigh. To do this, you simply take a deep inhale and then top it up with a second small inhale. Then exhale slowly through the mouth. So it's something like this. I know this is a bit strange on a podcast, although you might be watching the video. So we're inhaling, we're going, and then topping it up with a small inhale. And then we're exhaling slowly through the mouth. Okay, so big inhale, tiny top up, and then a long, slow exhale. And 2 or 3 rounds of this can calm your nervous system in minutes. It's actually one of my favorites. The longer you can do it, the more effect it's going to have on your nervous system. And of course, with everything that we do, good, bad, or otherwise, consistency counts. So the more often we do this, the more we bring this into our life as a daily practice, the more of an impact it's going to have, the more we're reminding our body and our brain that we are in fact safe. So let's start to round this out. I want to be very clear here. Stress isn't bad. Not all stress is bad, okay? Stress is a signal. It's your body saying, hey, something's not quite right here. It's actually giving you an opportunity to address it. And when you understand how your brain and your body respond, You can work with them, not against them. So you don't have to be ruled by your crocodile. As many of us, if we're sitting in that constant chronic state of stress or anxiety, we are being ruled by that crocodile brain, but it's not necessary. Right? You don't have to believe every thought that your puppy whispers. I know they're cute and I love puppies too, but we don't need to believe everything that it tells us. And this is really important, you don't have to push through when your body is asking for rest. In fact, that is a surefire way to end up in a burnout situation, right? So we need to become better at listening to our body. When our body tells us that we need rest, we need to listen. Now, I know some people are going to say, oh, Beck, I can't always just take rest when I want it. And I get that. We all lead full lives. We've got families, we've got jobs, we've got social lives. But if you're serious about making changes in your life, then it's time to start listening, because if you don't listen now, there will come a time where you literally may not be able to work or take care of your family, because your body will send that signal to say, right, that's it, I'm done. Okay, so what we're trying to do is teach you how to read those signals a little earlier so that you don't end up in a dire situation. So I want to give you a little bit of a quick recap of what we've talked about today. So number one, how your survival brain responds to stress. Number two, why your body reacts even when the threat isn't real. Number three, how beliefs and language shape your experience of stress. And if you want to recap on some of this or learn a little bit more, we have episodes all about beliefs and language as well. And lastly, number four, we talked about 3 tools to calm your nervous system fast. Now, remember, your body is not broken. Your mind is not broken. Okay, it's just doing what it's designed to do. But now you've got this awareness, and if you've been following us for a little while, we know that you have this awareness. Now that you've got this awareness, this insight, and the tools to shift the script, you can start making some big changes in your life. And it might not even be big changes. Sometimes it's just some very small tweaks that are going to help us make these little alterations that are going to have a big impact in our life. So that's it for today. Thanks for listening to the Brain Changes podcast. If you know someone who's been living in a constant stress mode that you think this would be helpful for, please share the episode with them. And remember also to subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd love a rating or review if this one resonated with you. It does help us reach more people. And of course, that is our mission, is to help as many people as we can. Until next time, remember, when you change your mind, you change your life. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Brain Changes. We hope you've enjoyed the conversation today. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest episodes. Our mission is to reach as many people as possible to help them revolutionize the way they think so they can change their brain and create profound transformation. Please help us broaden our reach by sharing this episode with someone you know will benefit. And remember to tag us on socials at Moonbeam Monday and leave a review. And remember, when you change your mind, you change your life. We'll catch you next time for another episode of The Brain Changes.